Welcome to episode 20 of the Banter Boyz podcast. This one's going to be titled Month of September, No Wins for Chelsea FC. Kyle, what are we doing this episode?
We're going to review match week 6, and then also we had some homework from last episode, so we all made our own Mount Rushmore. If anybody doesn't know, Mount Rushmore is 4 of the presidents. So basically, it's your top 4 Premier League players of all time. We all made our own, but the hardest part about this is that we have to collectively make a Banter Boyz podcast Mount Rushmore. So we have to come together and agree on some things. And then we'll look forward to next week, match week 7. Also, some Champions League matches coming up. Check on some fantasy rankings as well. And
We don't have to do that one.
that's it. We'll breeze by that one quick at the end there.
Okay.
So, yeah, you guys
I
ready?
just lost to the fucking commissioner.
All right, let's go through these matches real quick. Brentford United.
You know, they can. I keep on giving them chances. I really do. Every week I'm like, they gotta do better, right? They have a good team. They clearly have a good team with good players, and then they don't. And then so I'm still surprised he has his job. At what point he's not going to lose his job? Then there's going to be no point if he started this poorly where he still has a job. He's not losing his job.
Yeah,
he would have
the
been
tough
fired.
thing is that you gave him this summer window. You just bought the striker he wanted, the winger he wanted, the other winger Cam he wanted. You bought him the goalkeeper he wanted. You shipped out all these guys he didn't want. Now, granted, some of them are loans because you couldn't get sales for them, so they could come back. But you gave this guy a bunch of money in one window, changed the team for what he wanted, and now 6-7 games later, you're gonna fire him? 6-7 games later, you're gonna fire him? So what do you're like double screwed, because if you keep him, you could get relegated because you guys they can't win. And then if you fire him, now you have somebody else come in. Oh, I don't want to play a back 5, so then these guys aren't going to work. Or, oh, I don't play with, I want Bruno to play a 10. I don't want this guy to play here. Or Sesko, actually, I want to play with a false 9. So Sesko's completely irrelevant to my style. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. But they do not look good, man.
They suck. They suck. It's kind of sad because I almost want them to be good because, like, I want the rivalry to mean something. And right now it's dog shit. I will say though, there should have been a red card for Brentford, and there wasn't. Even if it's a goal scoring opportunity in the box, like Mbuma was past the last man. That should still be a red card. So, that changes the game, but
yeah, but we've seen red cards given for a ball at halfway line when it's the last man and there's still half the field left. So it's like you can't just.
Yeah, I don't think double jeopardy is supposed to protect against that. I think double jeopardy is supposed to protect against, fouling someone in the box, not, having the attacker beat the last man and him stopping a clear goal scoring opportunity. That should be a red card, in my opinion. That being said, I did say it was going to be 3-2 and it was 3-1, so I was one off.
Yeah, you were pretty close on that one. You did very well again. I think you got a total of 4, correct? 4 points.
I did.
I just want to say, Nikos had mentioned, like, they have good players. Like, genuinely, I think there's this false badge that Man U carries now. I like unbiasedly hating them. I look at the squad. There's maybe 3 or 4 players I would start with a 16 rostered team. I would literally throw everyone else away. I don't like, I'm not defending Amaron because I don't
No.
think he's the guy, but look at their defense. Their defense is, you look at the defense and you're like, that's maybe gonna get me into Europe. It's not an impressive defense. So my whole point is like, yes, the coach probably has to go and the upper management sucks, but the players still suck. They're the king at buying junk.
I agree in a way of how many players from United, we did this before, but how many players would you even want on your team from this United team? Like, I hate Bruno, but I would take Bruno instead of Odegaard. He does a great job as that cam role and scores goals from outside the box. But
he like Bruno shows up too. Like,
yes,
when you need him a lot of times, like as a midfielder, he's not a striker, he's not a winger. So you can't expect Bruno to show up in every big situation and be the goal scorer. He's not, but he has been provider in those situations. He has bottled 2 big penalty chances this season.
Yeah.
And that's bad. Trust me. It's lost me fantasy matches.
Literally.
For example, this week.
Yeah. Literally.
But like, okay, Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire plays well for England. He plays well for England. And when they need someone to create a big opportunity, Harry Maguire, it's either coming from his foot or coming off of his head. Harry Maguire, at any other team, he would probably be much more respected than he is at Manchester United. I like Lisandro Martinez would be a great left center back for a lot of teams. But at United, just the way they come together, it just sucks. Mazraoui or even Dalot would probably potentially walk in as Manchester City's right back. We don't really have one of those. And then Šeško, you wanted Šeško all summer. Cunha could get minutes in any Premier League team, and Mbeumo could get minutes in any Premier League team. So they do have good players. Look at what they did outside of Manchester United. It's when you mix them all together and you have an incompetent manager that they suck.
Yeah.
And also, you can't say Delit's a bad player.
Man City has one position they would probably take from their team, and that's right back.
But that's also City's worst position. So
right.
it's not
Arsenal.
How many upgrades?
Arsenal, you could maybe, and I don't agree with it, maybe make a case for left back. That would be your closest one. Otherwise, nothing. Chelsea, there's probably a few people you could argue for. But otherwise, these players aren't making other good teams. That's my point. People expect them to be Arsenal.
Listen, I would take both of their center backs right now.
Well, that's because your defense sucks. But
Pep wanted Maguire so bad. Pep wanted Maguire. He wanted Harry Maguire back. Bruno was going to come to City.
Yeah. Like you said, those players just don't work in that system. Those players don't work in that system. They don't work with the pressure being on them. And it's just too much. But let's see.
All right.
Big matchup next week for them. The relegation bowl there. We'll do quick on the next one here. Chelsea Brighton.
Yeah, pretty much. We lost. It's okay. Another red card. Disciplinary. We got defense isn't showing up. That's fine. But another red card 2 weeks in a row. Not looking great. But you know what? I still have faith in the team. On to the next week. And then now I think the next one is City Burnley.
No, you skip Palace Liverpool.
Oh, on my thing. Crystal Palace Liverpool. Crystal Palace Liverpool. Anyone who wants to take that one?
Kyle brought up a really good point though during the middle of the week.
Crystal Palace Liverpool. Anyone?
Does Chelsea have an anger management problem, or do they have disciplinary issues? That's
my issue is that you don't know how to
discipline.
You don't know how to fucking read, because is that what he said? Is that what Kyle said? Is that what Kyle said? Did Kyle say does Chelsea have an anger management issue? Do you know how to read, you dumb shit? Do they have a disciplinary issue? And I immediately responded and said, yes, they do have a young defensive disciplinary issue. What is there to argue there other than you putting dumb shit and changing the narrative again?
There's nothing to argue. I'm just clarifying a really good.
He was just making sure.
We try and make good points on this podcast.
Okay, yes,
we're
and
making
Arsenal
comments
lost
on
the league
things.
2 years in a row because of disciplinary, because of not being disciplined, which comes from the head coach down. And then Chelsea lost their last 2 games because they got stupid red cards, which I am not over here sitting in the corner sulking like you do every single time that Arsenal gets a red card, and you sit there and say, they're against us, the world's against us. Yeah, guess what? Sanchez wiped out Mbeumo, and Chalobah had a stupid red card 2 weeks in a row. I'm not going to sit here and say the world's against us because there was 2 stupid red cards that changed the shape of the game. We got a red card against Man U 4 minutes in the game. We had to change. We changed everybody. Was that stupid? Yes. We were winning the game up until our red card against Brighton, I'm pretty sure, or it was a closer game than what it was. And then as soon as we got the red card, went downhill. That's what happened. And it is what it is. But now we have a big game against Liverpool next week, and we'll see what happens. That's it. I'm not sitting here bitching like you would.
Great point.
There's definitely
you literally all year for fucking 2 years in a row.
Wait.
All you did, anytime you got a red card or nothing went your way, you sat there and cried and just said, "Oh, this is the worst thing ever. Everyone hates us. Oh, you guys are all being mean, whatever." When we get a red card, I got a red card. Guess what? That's it. It is what it is. We got one. Disciplinary problem. On to the next.
Is the gaslighting done?
It's not gaslighting because I literally will own up to it.
You're the gaslighter.
I owned up to it. I accept the loss. I tell you that we have a problem. I've owned up to it. I talk about it. All you do is sit there. You don't talk whenever there's scary moments when Arsenal isn't looking good. And then all you do is call people out by name. All you do is call people out by name in the group chat whenever you want to fucking banter somebody. But whenever Arsenal is on the fucking ropes, you sit there in silence until something goes your way. You're like,
it's true.
What my way? But when you guys lose, you go fucking AWOL for 2-3 weeks in a row, and then you take yourself out of the fucking group chat because something didn't go your way. What? Where's the gaslighting?
Wes is the gaslighter in this situation.
Nikos Propane Fuentes.
I have one question. Did you watch the whole Arsenal game,
was a good attempt,
Nikos?
I did. I watch every single game.
The Gyökeres penalty, did that not make you mad that their explanation for that he couldn't get a penalty even though he got cleared out was because he got a touch of the ball? But then in the Chelsea game, Sanchez gets a touch of the ball and clears out the attacker. That's a red card. But in the Arsenal sense, it's not, when it's the exact same thing.
There's a lot of bullshit, like non-reviews over the last few weeks, this game week. I mean, these ricochet handballs that aren't being called, that are being called, that aren't being called. I mean, there's one
so bad. The VAR is so. Even if you listen to, if you go back and watch the Arsenal game, the Gyökeres one, they got the ref is there's the announcers can hear them, but we can't. The announcer's like, "Oh, the VAR definitely doesn't want this to be a goal." They're trying to find, and there's like, why do they have a predisposition or oh, that shouldn't be a pen or that should be?
Send the referee for any big time claim that where they're checking, they have to send the referee. I can't stand when they don't go the step further and they just say, "Yeah, we're good." Like the Martinelli one. Listen, we could say anything. We could say the deflection. We can say whatever, his hand was in a natural, but that's got to be reviewed every single day of the week. That is a big time moment in a big time game where they're heavily reviewing it, and then they don't even go to the screen.
Yeah, and then the other times is they go to the screen and they still make the wrong decision. And you're like, well, it should
only be in the hands of the person who's officiating the match. It should be, hey, VAR says you should go look at this, and that's it. No recommendations, none of that. It should be, hey, we want you to look at this again. Here are the angles. And they either they look at one angle, however many angles they have, they look at each of them once, and they say, okay, you know what? I made a mistake here. Let's reverse it. Or I don't see a clear and obvious error, which is what the rule is supposed to be. Clear and obvious. I don't see a clear and obvious error. I do see a clear and obvious error. That's it. Move on.
Yeah, that's
move on. If there's multiple fouls in a play, then you're only looking at each angle one time. In and out. That's it. It takes too long.
Yeah.
So it's just burning time in the game. And it's supposed to be clear and obvious.
That's my problem, is the clear and obvious. The point is that if the ref on the field says pen, red card, yellow card, whatever it is, if they make a decision, the VAR is only supposed, and they're only supposed to change their minds if it's a clear and obvious error. If they say it's a pen and then in super slow motion, 240 frames per second, Nick Pope gets a fucking fingernail touch of the ball before he clears out Gyökeres, it's like, well, that's not clear and obvious. Like, that's not the point. You know what I mean?
Issue is
like
he's got to go. I think regardless, they got to go to VAR, because I'm sick of the day later, 2 days later, and being like, "Oh, VAR got it wrong." Then we have to listen to them in the booth, and you're like, "Why can we have them make a wrong decision, and then 2 days later they owe us an apology, and then say, whoopsie daisy, here's the conversation they had," when we don't even know if that's live? Like, that's the thing. It's like they have to leave it up to the ref. Just if it's close, send them to VAR, but it's got to be like, hey, listen, this is something you should look at. Go. Not for every dive, every claim. I think the VAR should be like the best assistant. Hey, this looks like it could be more than what you think it is. Go check it out. And then that's it.
Yeah, and part of the problem is it's changing the way that they referee the game, right? Because they let things play on because you have VAR to fall back on. No, you're an official. Go out there and officiate the game. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong. And they tell you to go look at it. But like a close offside that they let play on. What are we doing? Yeah, Wes.
Are we still on the Chelsea lost game?
No, we're moving on to Palace and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
VAR is a problem. Liverpool finally got the loss that they have deserved a few times this season, and finally the chink in the armor.
They got Liverpooled.
Yeah.
Well, they Liverpooled and then got Liverpooled. It's crazy. Like, they equalized in added time, and then they lost in added time.
Yep.
Okay. Let's
I think they're going to lose like 5 games this year.
They could.
They could have already lost 5 games this year.
Why is it whenever Liverpool gets a late winner, it's like, man, Liverpool. But why is it whenever Arsenal gets a late winner, it's like a celebration?
Because we support Arsenal.
I know, but you guys are looking down on Liverpool for getting a late. Like, today was the obvious, not that last weekend.
I'm looking down on them because they lost.
I know, but what I'm saying is not this week. You guys are always shitting on them for getting late
I think
wins
because every single game has been a late winner. Not one game. Every single game has been a late winner.
Arsenal's this last game was a late winner, and then the Man City game was a late equalizer, and then maybe the ones before that were more convincing, but like Liverpool did the same thing.
Yeah, but they did it for every single game, no matter the opposition. We did it against City, could be the first, second, or third best team in the league. And then Newcastle will have an amazing team. And Newcastle play us the way that everybody should play us, where they just foul the shit out of us, stop the ball, don't let us get our rhythm, and very much make Arsenal start, stop. If you let us have the ball in play, that's when we play our best. But it's the teams that stop us from doing that. Like Brentford does that to us when Thomas Frank was there. Those are like the 2 teams that would do it to us every time. And it was like, it's so hard. Like, we get 3 passes and then the ball goes out of bounds for a throw in, but it's like, you got to start again and like start again and start again. It's just
fair.
I just can't see where Palace are in the standings.
One of the Palace I had, I think, top half. One of the controversies this week was I saw a lot of Arsenal Twitter angry about the fact that Palace, prior to their throw-in, was using towels to dry the ball off before they threw the ball in. And I believe it was during the Arsenal match that the officials stopped Arsenal from being able to use a towel to wipe the ball off before throwing the ball in. Because the previous week,
this week,
yes,
they did, but the last week they let them.
The last week they let them.
Were like, there was a lot of people that were pulling up a rule that's not a rule. that you can't dry off a ball with a towel.
It is a rule. And I'm
Not
sure
in the-
Arsenal was
it's not in
told
the
they're not
EPL.
allowed to do that,
It's for the
It is,
EFL.
and they
commentators-
enforced it this
The
week.
commentators said it this weekend.
It's not for the Premier League. It's for the EFL. It's for the EFL Cup. It's not for the Premier League.
It is for the Premier League. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
Well, I don't think that's an agree to disagree moment. I think there needs to be a factual answer there.
Every team does it. No one's enforced it, and now someone who hates Arsenal wants to bring it up. So that's why it's.
I saw a Sky Sports thing that they talked about it, and it's not a Premier League rule. It's an EFL rule, so it's only for the EFL Cup, but it's also never been enforced either way, like for anybody.
And someone made an issue about it, so they said, okay, well, Arsenal did this all last week. Let's make sure we enforce it. And those referees got the memo. The ones in the Palace match didn't. At the end of the day, I had a perfect score. I said 2-1 Crystal Palace.
You did say 2, which, I looked at it and I said, did I write it down wrong? I was going to ask you, and then I was like...
No, I got my predictions from last week.
I was like, he did. He was right on.
Wait. What did I say that Brentford was going to beat Man U?
You said 1-1. You were him and Han. Because I said 1-1, and you were like, ooh, you're right. Maybe it is a draw.
Fucking hate that. So I'm choosing losses for them from here on out.
Moving on, Manchester City.
You were so close, man. You almost got an extra point.
I was so close.
You said 5-0.
I said 5-0. City won 5-1. Holland with 2 goals at the death. Mateus Nunes showing how good he can be against a lesser opponent. We'll see how it turns out when, he's really finding his place there as a right back against better teams. But Manchester City looks like Manchester City again. And it's good to see. They get a little rest before this past match, and you see how they can fly around. And Jeremy Doku has been
catching
crazy
fire.
This season.
Catching fire.
He's been crazy. He's getting more touches in the opponent's box every week. He set a record this past week. It's gelling, and he's one of the things I said was a negative about him was that he doesn't have the final ball. He's great on the ball, one-on-one with the defender. This dude cooked Kyle Walker all day, and all of a sudden he has that final ball. It looks like, and if he's in form right now.
How long does it last?
It's not gonna be like this all season, but if he's even half the player for the rest of the season, he has a great season. So far, he's been incredible. So that's all I have to say about City.
At the end of that game, I know that it's Burnley. At the end of that game, I went, fuck, they're not going to lose for the rest of the year. If that's how they play, Foden is playing well, Holland, Doku, like you said, like that defense is gelling. Also, having Donnarumma behind you as a defender, I just think, what would it do to my mentality? I would almost be able to play a little bit calmer. It's like, dude, we got a brick fucking wall behind us. Like, I don't need to be like, oh shit, if I fuck up, that's definitely going in the net. You can almost play calmer. It makes you play better. Even though you don't have to play better, it's kind of like one of those. I was like, shit, they might not lose the rest of the year. There's going to obviously be some draws here, but this might be that City run.
He's also a take no bullshit goalie.
Yes.
So like he will let you hear it if you make any mistake, and I think that kind of like rouse the defense up to be like, okay, like let's get our shit together, because watching him play like all throughout like Europe, Italy, PSG, like he is a take no bullshit keeper, and like if you don't want to mess up on his accord, you don't want to like mess with his clean sheets, so you want to play harder for him if you can get somebody that riles up the team.
Wes, anything?
Enough the defense to go undefeated, but
I agree. Defense is the big problem there. Defense is the problem.
You guys figure out your right
I think
back.
my only thing would be is that it's what I would expect from that match. You're playing last place at the end of the season, Burnley. I want to see you guys beat someone good. You lost to Tottenham. When's the last time you guys have beaten a top 6 side? I think we're looking at last season. No?
Well, I mean, we played Arsenal and drew, lost to Tottenham so far this season. So when the opportunity presents itself, and it's not as slanted. Like, for example, Spurs always been a thorn in Pep's side. Always. Doesn't matter who the manager is, doesn't matter who the players are. It's one of those teams that he splits with or goes 0-2 every season. Arsenal, you guys are really playing the best that you've played.
We have your number.
Well, you can argue you have our number. We drew at your home field.
It's been 2 years since you beat us.
Barely.
Okay. Again, I don't know if that's saying have our number. If the performance you guys had at the match you went to happened multiple times over the last 2 years, then I would say, yeah, you do have our number. You're playing better than us right now. That's for damn sure. But having our number, that's a bit of a stretch. It's the defense that's been the problem. And like I said, I think next time the opportunity presents itself, I think we see a better City side. And I think the next one, I can't remember if we played Chelsea or Liverpool first. I know we played Chelsea 5 from now. It might, or Liverpool 5 from now. It might be Chelsea next. So
you guys have Liverpool. I looked. It was November 9th. I just had it.
Yeah, and you have. I think it's
that's
Brentford is next up for City.
2027.
Last match, Newcastle Arsenal. That was a frustrating watch. That to me, the Gyökeres pen. I mean, it's the same situation as the Chelsea red from last week. And even if he got a touch to the ball, it's like he still clears him out in the box. And what's to say if he still gets that touch, Gyökeres could just go around him and potentially shoot it on goal or pass it back in. And then also the stupid thing is they looked at it for so long and they're like, hey, it's a drop ball. It's like, if anything, it's a corner. I mean, he touched it and the ball went out behind the net. That's a corner, if anything. Like, it's just, that was frustrating to start with.
My thing on that call was that it's a can go both ways kind of call. I think Chelsea, I think Sanchez got more of the ball, to be fair.
I totally agree.
My thing is that he got a straight red, and then somehow the next day they were like, "Oh, you're not getting a 3-match ban, you're getting a 1-match ban." They lessened it. So like that's almost them saying like we fucked up. Because they wouldn't. That's a 3-match ban. If you get a straight red, that's a 3-match ban. For them the next day to be like, it's only a 1-match ban, which goes down to like, okay, that was the Man U game, Chelsea Man U.
The Man U game when he
4
kicked the ball and then ran
Sanchez,
into.
He took
when he kicked the ball off Mbumo, but also took him out.
Yeah, so
like
he got ball. He took him out, and that's one of those ones that could be both ways. He went out of his box. He took him out. He got the ball. So that's one of those things where it's like it could go either way. Like you could hit the ball, but then ram somebody. So you're like, who's to say if it's dangerous or not? But for them to be like, okay, you hit the ball, straight red. The next day, be like, all right, 1-match ban. You're okay. So it's like it's that weird. Like they messed up. So is that the same? If it's the same instance, did they realize they messed up and then realize it's not a pen because he hit the ball for the Arsenal game? It's just a weird.
And again, is that a clear and obvious error? Like, was it? It's not like he cleared the ball and then took out Gyökeres. He had a fucking barely touched it.
My opinion is that he touched the ball, but you kind of have to look at the angle that he's going, how heavily like the player is going to like. Listen, if he touched the ball and the ball's going all the way over there, then you're like, he wasn't. The ball's going out of bounds. So you have to like kind of put the gameplay. Where was that going to lead from there? If he didn't take out him and hit the ball, where was he going from there? So I feel like there's a lot of pieces that kind of go into that to like where was the outcome going to go if he kind of didn't get taken out.
Yeah.
I was actually fine with all of the calls in the game. I didn't
Sure
think
you
the
were.
ref was perfect, but I was actually fine with all of the VAR calls.
The ones that went to VAR. I mean, the Martinelli one was a handball for sure, but
Megalace.
He was the defender.
Not
Yeah.
not
No,
Martinelli.
Was it not
no, it
Martinelli?
wasn't.
No, it was Gabriel Magalaeus.
No, in
But
the second half when it bounced off, I thought that was Martinelli.
it was
His hand was up.
That wasn't Martinelli. That was Gabriel
Wow.
Magalaeus.
Oh, even more of a reason why I hate him.
I hope that it happens to a non-Arsenal game this week, just so I can come on next week and be like, it's still the right call. Because you're not going to believe me and you're going to think I'm being biased, but I thought it was the right call.
10 out of 10 times, I will say that's a red card. That's a handball, and everyone else will agree with that.
Incredibly harsh. Let them play the game. Decapitate their arms if you're that worried.
We've learned that you defend with your arms behind your back in scenarios, and when you slide, you have to slide in a certain way, not with your arm up.
He's 25 inches in front of the guy. It hits his shin pad first, and that's a natural position.
Okay. It's
when you
not a natural position.
Look up soccer players and baseball players. Go to Google Images and type in soccer player slide tackling, baseball slide. You're gonna see.
Well, Wes, I played baseball through college. The only time that you ever throw your arm up when you slide is when you're sliding into second base and you're putting your arm up to try to block the middle infielder's view of first base, try to throw them off so that they don't throw the ball to first base.
That
it's the only time you ever throw your arm up.
You hate Arsenal.
No, it's not. In the last opinion, as a college baseball player.
In the last few years, back when we used to play soccer and stuff, putting your hands behind your back defending was like a weird thing. You never did that. You never saw anyone do that. That was something that was unheard of. That was something that when you
Google imaged. Just Google imaged.
Honestly,
soccer
whatever.
Player slide tackling.
Right, dude. All right.
And it's like this. You guys can argue for us to lose however you want. We won the game.
Okay, Kyle.
My argument was
Kyle, what's your opinion?
Going like this when you slide tackle is not a natural position because this is what he did.
I think if you watch it in slow motion, you have JP's opinion of it. But I think if you watch the whole play, the fact that he's running fast to cover over and slide tackle, he's using his arm to counterbalance himself of leaning onto one arm, and he's trying to lean and counterbalance himself because if he just does this with his arm, he's just going to dead fish like our FIFA goal celebration, and he's not going to get the slide tackle. So I think if it doesn't come off his shin, then they call it a handball, 100%. I think because it comes off of his shin and then hits his hand, it's like
that would be the only argument there. Is the fact that
because then it doesn't matter that it doesn't matter where his hand is, because if his hand is next to his side and it comes off his shin and hits it, what's the difference of it coming off of his shin and hand hitting it here? So I think that's the only reason that saves it.
Kyle, I agree with you there because the part of his body that did hit the ball initially, first of all, you're allowed to hit the ball with that part of your body. Second of all, like it's a natural position for your leg to be because you're slide tackling. If he slid and threw his arm up like this and it hit off his hand, that's a handball 11 out of 10 times. It is. Because I'm like, in my opinion, if you're sliding and you go like this, the only reason you're doing that is to make yourself bigger. We watch a lot of NFL football. How many times do we see NFL quarterbacks slide with the ball and go like this with their off-ball hand? Never happens.
Well, I think that's a totally different slide to a slide tackle. I think it's on your side compared to on your butt.
Typed into Google.
Even if you want to,
we found something to agree on.
Yeah,
I think we can move on.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that's how he tackles. I just looked up previous slide tackles from him.
And
does it in other
tackling wrong. All right, so
okay, well, when he gets a red card for it, inevitably one day,
it's a Brazilian flair.
We're gonna go see this. We're gonna revisit this conversation.
Well, we have a fun little segment now that we're done with that.
This is going to be tough. This is going to be really challenging, I think. It might not be though. It might not be challenging. Who wants to go first for the Mount Rushmore? Now, does somebody want to?
I feel like I've already won.
Okay. JP, who's up first? JP's in charge of this.
Wes feels like he already went. Wes, does that mean you want to go first?
Now, question. Does everybody go through their 4 and then we collectively pick? Okay.
Yes.
Wes,
go ahead.
Now, hold on. Just name your person. We won't debate them yet.
We have to explain what we're doing.
Yes.
Yes.
On the screen, you can see Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore is a sculpture that's been carved out of the side of a mountain in South Dakota that represents 4 of the greatest presidents that the United States has had, each representing a different quality. We have decided to go to make our Premier League Mount Rushmore. Wesley has the floor for his Mount Rushmore. Take it away, Wesley.
We'll
go player by player.
Do you want to just name your players and then we'll debate them when we have to debate them, or do you want to try to make your case?
Tell us. Give us a short answer as to why you picked your player, and we'll go one by one, but we'll do it quickly.
Okay. So there's no Liverpool and there's no Manchester City on my Mount Rushmore, and it's not even close to being someone on that. You can't argue for anyone close to being on that. I take that back. There's one player that almost made it for Liverpool. There are 2 that are undoubtable, and if neither or if all of, sorry, I can't speak. There are 2 people on my list that should be on everyone's list, and if it's not, you did not do this correctly. Number 1 is Thierry Henry. The other one is Alan Shearer. The other 2, I think, are going to be the ones that we debate over, although I don't know what everyone else put. But if you don't have those 2, I'm judging your soccer IQ.
Your first name.
The other 2 are Lampard and Ryan Giggs. And I will say that I had 4 others that were very close to that last spot, which is Vieira, Bergkamp, Rooney, and Gerrard.
We were trying to figure out the over-under of how many Arsenal players you had on here.
It was just on his almost list.
You mentioned 3, so 2.5, I think, would have hit. We thought it would have been hilarious if you came out and just said 4 Arsenal players. That would have been.
If I had to eliminate one in my overage, it'd be Bergkamp, but he was one of the most technically gifted, height to baller ratios that has ever walked the planet.
He's not sniffing the top 4 though.
Okay. All right, who's up next, JP?
I'll go next because I would love to have some banter with Wesley.
Okay. Next up,
now,
JP.
So I went ahead. Here's what I did. I said Mount Rushmore. Well, what do the 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore represent? They represent the birth of the country, the growth of the country, the development of the country, and the preservation of the country.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Way too seriously.
George Washington with the birth. He was our first president. He led us to battle against the Brits. Thomas Jefferson represents growth with the Louisiana Purchase, the expansion of the country, the development of the country. Teddy Roosevelt. And then finally, the preservation, Abraham Lincoln, preserving the Union during the Civil War. So representing the birth of the country, I picked none other than Alan Shearer. He was in the inaugural Premier League season. He's currently the Premier League all-time goal-scoring leader. And in 3 of the first 5 seasons, he was the top scorer in the league. It only makes sense to put Alan Shearer as the George Washington representative of birth.
Blackburn Rovers.
My next pick. And I'm sorry. One thing I do have to say. I did snub Manchester United. There's not a Manchester United player on my list. The reason being...
That's terrible.
The reason being is Manchester United dominated the first decade of the Premier League. They did. But the name that I would pick to represent Manchester United is Sir Alex Ferguson. And this is a Mount Rushmore of players Okay.
Maybe
The
we
next
do
on my
managers
list,
next.
Okay.
the next name on my list, representing the growth of the Premier League, the Thomas Jefferson place, is Titi Henry. Thierry Henry's on the list. See, Wes, there's nothing to argue about yet. There's nothing to argue about. I picked an
These next
Arsenal
two,
player.
I think these-
You've already said something kind of stupid, but okay.
Even
Arsenal-
when you're in agreement, he's just gonna fucking find something to fight you.
He loves to
Even
find
when you're
something.
even when
Yeah.
you're both agreeing on the same thing, he's gonna sit
So
there and be
even-
like,
This is me showing variety. I'm
Segment,
supporting
okay.
Manchester United in this. This is
Hey, I didn't talk. I didn't talk
anything I
when you
say
gave your
or
Mount
do
Rushmore.
is like the wrong
You
narrative.
ungrateful prick. Titi Henry was robbed of a Ballon d'Or. He was a member of the Invincible season. In the growth of the Premier League, they took talents from France. They combined them with homegrown talents in England. They made a great club. Okay? Thierry Henry is the representative of the growth. My next name, none of you are going to be surprised. Representing the development of the Premier League. One of the main players who changed the way that the league plays the beautiful game. The face of the Pep Guardiola era. None other than Kevin De Bruyne.
I think we all saw that one coming.
You all knew that it was going to... As a matter of fact, I had a face mess with Wes. But we went a little long on the review this week, so I skipped out on it. I mean, treble, domestic quad, 4 in a row, 100-point season. It's hard not to pick a player from that era. Kevin De Bruyne was the face of the era, showed up in big matches, won a Champions League, something that I don't think any Arsenal player can say as a member of the Arsenal team. So Kevin De Bruyne is my player for the development piece of the Mount Rushmore. And finally, preservation. This is where things got tricky because I know we said top 4 Premier League players of all time, but I said, well, this is Mount Rushmore. We need to fit players that represent, each of the 4 ideals of Mount Rushmore. And Nikos, I wanted to put John Terry on my Mount Rushmore. He was in my initial Mount Rushmore. I did not put him there because I think there's another defender in the Premier League who represents preservation. The Abe Lincoln of the Premier League, who is a classic defender with modern ball-playing defender qualities. And for that reason, Wes, who did I choose? Who did I choose, Wes? Who did I choose? Who did I choose? Say it. Say it. I'm not doing anything until you say it.
I
Say
swear, if you pop up Vincent Company,
That's
never
what
be
I'm
able
thinking.
to
I'm
give
thinking
you
Vincent
back-
Company as well.
You guys are so funny. No, you guys are dumb, okay? This team is the joint leader in English titles. They are back on top of the league. They ended their 30-year drought. They still have the most English titles ever won, joint with Manchester United. Like I said, modern ball-playing defender with the classic Premier League defender build. And it's none other than Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk will go down as one of the best defenders in Premier League history. He has about 120 less matches than John Terry. He has, I think, 75 to 80 less clean sheets. But in terms of preservation, he's a 2-time league winner. They were the main opponent for Manchester City during their dominant era. But this is preservation. Okay, there's no other player that meets that preservation role than Virgil van Dijk, in my opinion. You can hate me all you want, Wesley, but you said no Liverpool, no Manchester City. How are you going to snub the team with the most titles in English history? Meanwhile, I snub Manchester United, who's the joint leading title. But that's because I'm a Manchester City fan. Fuck Manchester United.
Okay. All right. Who's up next?
I'm not that upset because you
go next.
Made yourself not look good. But go ahead.
I'll go next.
Okay.
On my list, we're seeing some names that have been said before. I think we're all in agreement that Thierry Henry is probably one of the best strikers of all time. So he's got to be on that list. Now, this next one, and I'll go in order to make it easier for you, JP. Next on my list, I have a name that we haven't heard yet. This one might be a little bit debatable, but I think grand scheme of thing, it's not. I mean, I think we'd all be like, yeah, he's on my tops, like best players of all time. He is a Liverpool player. I put Stevie G as one of the best players. I think there's not much question marks behind that. I think he's always been a top player. He led his team to just unbelievable seasons. International, he played really good. Overall, just one of the best midfielders of all time. Next to him, gotta put Lampard. Because if we're putting Stevie G up there, we're gonna put Lampard right next to him. Those are the two best midfielders, I think, debatably of all time. And then we have Alan Shearer. I mean, you're going to have to put the top goal scorer. I mean, statistically, he is the best player of all time. He was in the inaugural season. We've seen that. If we want to go back to, being there from the beginning, but if you're the best goal scorer and the only active close person, I think he was at 250. The only active close person is Salah at 180. I mean, Salah's got to get almost 100 more goals, almost 100 to meet up to him. So I mean, you gotta figure it. Like a player like Salah being that far off from his goal scoring tally, I mean, it's no question. He's got to be up there. And that's my list. I think it's relatively basic, but I mean, you can't really fight the majority of them.
Okay. I'm up last. I have two names that are not on anybody else's for their top four. First up, easy one, Thierry Henry. I think that's pretty much a given. Best player of Premier League history. Changed the Premier League when he came there. Easy. I don't have Alan Shearer in my team. I know he is the top goal scorer. But I looked at it as from 1992 to now, what are the four biggest teams? Arsenal, Chelsea, City, and United. Those were the four biggest teams. Liverpool did very well, but didn't win the Premier League enough. Had a section that was so bad that I just could not put Stevie G in there or Virgil van Dijk in there. But it could have easily swung. It could have, if Liverpool won two more of those City Liverpool years, I think then that's how I would have changed there. But for my Chelsea captain, I chose Frank the Tank. Had to go with Frank. I was deciding between him and John Terry, but I was like, Lampard is just he was that team. And then for Manchester City, I was very close to doing KDB, but I think to get to the Mount Rushmore, you need to have a moment. You need to have a moment.
Way.
You need to have a moment that says you are the face of that team. And Kevin De Bruyne, for all the assists, fantastic. But there is nothing like scrolling on Twitter or on TikTok or on Instagram Reels, and you hear Aguero!
That's not even close! Because, oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Can I do it?
You can do it. You can do it.
Wait, so we're getting kicked off of YouTube.
My favorite part is that he put himself on the side, but we can see him.
We can still see him putting his shirt back on.
And he can't hear us.
So to me, I would choose him as my City captain because he was the start of this City a decade of excellence. And I think that moment itself counts for something. That moment is massive. Kids 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now are going to go back and go, hey, man, did you ever see the Aguero moment? That's like such a special moment. That, to me, is what elevates him just above De Bruyne for the Mount Rushmore. And then last up for my United captain, which was very tough. I could have went Ronaldo, but he only really played for like 3 years, really, really good years, but just not long enough. I was going to go Ryan Giggs for he played such a long time, so many goals, so many assists. But again, I'm here for the moments. When I started playing FIFA, this was the person I always wanted. If I was doing manager mode, get me Wayne Rooney. Give me Wayne Rooney. I think that he is my United captain. It doesn't need to be the United captain, but I think that Wayne Rooney is just such a special story. And I think he just fantastic. I think he's number 3 top goal scorers, Premier League history. Like, he's just fantastic. So that is my top 4.
Yeah, I disagree with yours the most.
I just have 2 quick statements. One is against why Gerrard should absolutely not be in our group one, and also why I think, although KDB is a phenomenal player, or was, why he also should not be in here. And it's proven when you contrast it against the other people that we should have in here. So for Gerrard, I believe he's the only player mentioned who actually didn't even win a Premier League title in the names that we said. So to say that he's on the Premier League Mount Rushmore and yet doesn't even have a Premier League trophy, automatically in my book should discount him from the get-go. He was another great player, amazing, but again, shouldn't be on it. And then
tough trophy
regarding
talk coming from a team that hasn't really won
regarding
recent
who was
times.
the other one? KDB. So
Yeah,
there's 2 things with KDB. If he played longer in the Premier League and was less injured, I could see there being an argument for him. His numbers would be even better. But the one big thing on top of that is that a Ryan Giggs, an Alan Shearer, some of these other players that we're mentioning were get on my back and you will ride me with your entire team type players. KDB was put in the middle of a oil-driven wealth fund and was, again, one of their better players, but was gifted with what was around him. So to me, he also should not be on here. He's in the top 10 Premier League players of all time, probably on my list. I'm not discounting any of these players. I'm just saying they shouldn't be in our top 4 when 2 of the automatics are Shearer, Henry, and I think all of us are probably going to agree on Lampard. So it comes down to the 4th.
So I agree with Lampard. So I mean, we all had Henry, we all had Shearer, right?
Half of us had Lampard. I did not have Shearer.
Right.
For the same
right.
reason,
didn't have Shearer.
Wes's argument for Stevie G is how I took off Alan Shearer for my team. You had 1 Premier League. You did score the most goals, but can Haaland catch him? Absolutely. Could Harry Kane come back and catch him in goals? Absolutely. So it's not like a Wayne Gretzky level of record that now Ovechkin has beaten, but it wasn't like a impossible record.
Like, why has no one touched it since the 90s?
Because people don't stay in the Premier League that long, sadly. And the Premier League is the best defensive league as well, and it wasn't
single-handedly.
Now it's Brentford's defense is better than some of the Europeans' second, third place teams. Like, the Premier League defense is so good now because of Jose, I believe. Like, the Premier League defenses top to bottom are better than any other league. So I think that and nobody stays that long. You know what I mean? If Haaland stays his whole career at City, he will break that record, guaranteed. If Saka doesn't get injured again, he's so young, he has a chance to break that record. If he just plays until he's fucking 34. So many of these kids can if they stay. If Sesko scores, 40, 50 goals a season, he's so young he could do it. So he only won 1 Premier League. So it was so tough for me to put him in here. I was like, he was like my 5th. He was just barely didn't make it.
So if Stevie G's reason for not being on there is not winning anything Premier League wise, then Alan Shearer did win something and has the most goals of all time. I mean, he's got to be in there for sure then.
To me,
he's already debunked 2 of those things that Wes has said why, like, Stevie G won't get it because of titles.
And I know that it was 1 title for him, but he literally put Blackburn Rovers on their back. I actually meant to look it up, and I will while we do this. He basically took Leicester from 2014 or whatever year that was when they won and made them win.
Yeah.
They were such underdogs.
And if you can make
I
a
don't
team
think
like
the argument
that,
that we should be having is about Alan Shearer because 3 of us had Shearer.
yeah, it's the
I
fourth
think
spot.
Shearer's on. I think Henri's on, and 2 of us had Frank. I almost had Frank. I battled with him in Terry, and then I kind of looked back and reevaluated and said, well, what does Mount Rushmore represent? And that's where I came up with mine. Maybe it was for content, who knows? Maybe that was my thought process. But the fourth face is the one we need to figure out.
Yeah.
It's
realistically.
basically between a United player and a City player. And that's to me where Alan Shearer, I had to take him off because United dominated the first half of the Premier League and City has dominated like the last third.
If we're going based off of everyone's players, it's got to be Giggs. I mean,
Giggs had the most Premier League titles of all time, 13. Yep. He had 21 consecutive seasons in the Premier League where he scored a goal.
Says your stream paused, JP.
And he has one of the longest, and he has one of the longest stints for any player in the Premier League ever.
I was gonna I had Ryan Giggs in, and then I was like, I don't know. I like Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney is one of my all-time favorites, even though he's a United player. So I was like, fuck it, I'm putting him in there. But I like the Ryan Giggs one.
My fifth.
I like the Ryan Giggs shout. I think, like you said, he's just has so many records.
Longevity.
And he just represents.
But he has all. You know what I mean? He has not just longevity. He has the titles. He has longevity. He has the goals. He has the assists. He has the full record.
And my favorite, and I think he should go on this list alone for this reason. My favorite Giggs moment when he was interim coach and subbed himself in. That is the single greatest moment of soccer history I have ever seen in my life. When Ryan Giggs was the interim coach for Man U. He was wearing the tracksuit and then he subbed himself. There's no big cojones moment than saying like, all right, interim coaching job. I'm putting myself on the field right now. The coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Huge. That was awesome. So for that moment alone, he's on my Rushmore. Now.
So I know we love to, and I agree. I think Ryan Giggs should be the fourth name. That's kind of what the group has decided. People love to say Kevin De Bruyne didn't have moments. Remember when Kevin De Bruyne scored the screamer against Chelsea when David Silva was out because his son was born prematurely? Kevin De Bruyne showed up, carried Manchester City that match.
Into this.
Do we remember when Kevin De Bruyne scored the screamer against Real Madrid to elevate them to their first Champions League trophy? Do we remember when Kevin De Bruyne had the pass to Gabriel Jesus that solidified the first 100-point season in Premier League history? Like, we love to forget that Kevin De Bruyne had moments.
Do you remember when Bobby Boucher came back at the halftime of the Bourbon Bowl to win them? Sorry.
Kevin De Bruyne comes back from injury, puts a pass in, an unbelievable pass that nobody saw to Oscar Bob to win the match against Newcastle, to bring Manchester City back up into the title race and eventually win the title.
I will go back into my Man City hating days for this one. Unfortunately, before I was putting in this group chat in fantasy, I hated Man City more than I hated Arsenal. I think
let's go back to that. That's fun.
Wesley, you are the sole reason. Wesley, you are the sole reason for this.
Get under the London umbrella, my lad.
I think that KDB is, of course, a phenomenal player. No one can take that away from him. No one can say that he is not one of the greats. With the team that he had, it's very hard to not be that top player and look like the best player of all time. I would put David Silva over KDB, personally. But then also, you're like, look at the team you're working with. I mean, at that time, Man City had everyone and were giving everything and then constantly getting everything. So it's hard to
That's why I chose Aguero.
Because people still love to discount what John Stones has done. He was one of Pep's first signings. People love to discount what Kyle Walker's done. They hate on Kyle Walker.
They're not up for debate.
Why are we talking about these people?
Yeah, but we say that they're not great. I mean, they say that Sterling's not great. They say all these players weren't great, and then say, "Oh well, Kevin De Bruyne was surrounded by greatness." Well,
no one realistically.
He was surrounded by greatness. Then on the other side, say, "Oh, those guys."
I would say other teams were like. I mean, you could look at Chelsea's, super team with Frank and Terry and Drogba and all those teams, but I think it was a different time.
And De Bruyne didn't sniff the pitch then, did he?
And also, JP,
when he was with Chelsea,
we're on that weird turn of times.
Your argument is defeated just for the fact that your argument of was the team really that good that he got gifted? Yes, it was, because when he was out for months at a time, they still pretty much had the same record.
No, they didn't.
He wasn't the
difference.
Didn't,
Wes. He was the West. He was, because don't you remember when Jurgen Klopp said Kevin De Bruyne's back in the league and the other teams are shaking because Manchester City was in 7th or 8th place, and then KDB came back and what do you know? They hold the trophy at the end of the day.
What about
people love to discount
instead of Kevin De Bruyne?
I was just gonna say can we all just agree that Aguero's not on the top 4?
Aguero was there before Pep and won a title before Pep. Doesn't that mean something? He wasn't the
only team. Oh my God, the team before Pep. Who was the coach before Pep? He was one of the best coaches of all time too. I mean, you can't just say this is a Pep thing. I mean, what JP? Who was it? I can't think of his name
Allegri.
Right now. Yeah. What?
Pellegrini.
It was Pellegrini.
Yeah,
Pellegrini. You can't just. I hated that son of a bitch too. All right, but still, that was prime oil money Man City. If you want to hate any Man City team, it's that oil money. Not now. Not now. Now you're being soft. No, JP. Now you're being no, Wes. Now you're being soft. If you want to hate prime oil money Man City, you want to look at Pellegrini and that Aguero team, and that was your prime. We just bought this team and we just put all of our money into it. That is why
we're talking about taking Carlos Tevez off of Manchester United. We're talking about
you guys had an awesome team. You guys had an awesome team.
Belgian defensive midfielder who we say no, you'd be better as a center back. And by the way, be the leader of our club for almost a decade. Like that. If you want to hate bringing in Robinho. Right? Like, if you want to hate then.
Yeah, I think. But to me, what Aguero did was more impressive than what Kevin De Bruyne did, because it's like Kevin De Bruyne walked into a team that already won the league. Like, they already did it. They didn't when Aguero was there.
We can agree that Giggs is that 4th spot, right?
Yeah, I'm still fighting for Aguero over
That's
Alan
fine.
Shearer.
It's not going to happen. So, Aguero is not on the list. Wes, I don't want to hear anything from you.
I'm complimenting you.
The Banter Boyz, Mount Rushmore.
Wait, hold on. Alan, wait, JP. Wes, what did you want to say to me?
I'm trying to compliment you and say that it took 19 episodes for me to say, you know what, Nikos? I'm going to clip what you just said and watch it before bed every night.
At the expense of JP. Anyways, so our collective Premier League amongst the Banter Boys, our Mount Rushmore is this. It's Alan Shearer. It's Thierry Henry, TT. Frank the Tank, Super Frank Lampard. And we got Ryan Giggs. That is our Mount Rushmore of Premier League players. Now, for those of you guys watching, what is your Mount Rushmore of Premier League players? Let us know. Yes, JP.
Wes,
did we miss?
Wes, what do you think about having Frank Lampard?
I just want to know what I get for getting all 4 correct.
Sorry, what do you think about having Frank Lampard on here?
I have him on here.
Oh, that's interesting, because you opened by saying I don't have a single Manchester on my Mount Rushmore yet. Frank Lampard played for Manchester City. So do you want to put your foot in your own mouth, or do you want me to come to Connecticut and put my foot?
Oh, we're getting bites.
You're gonna have to have a tall ladder to reach where we are on the standings in order to make that happen. So.
Man City legend Frank the
Question.
Tank Lampard.
You didn't answer the question.
I view
You said
him strictly
in your
as a
notes,
Chelsea
you
Oh my
in
God.
your shared notes with Banter Boys that
We go to
there would
prediction.
be no Manchester City, and it's not even close. Frank Lampard played for Manchester City, scored against Chelsea, by the way.
You don't have to
and
throw it in there. You don't have to throw it in there. All right?
Mount Rushmore.
We could clip that.
So-
we could clip that. We could edit that out.
Anyway, predictions for this next week. What do you guys think? What games are we doing?
All right. Everybody ready?
Is
Yeah,
Saturday the
let's
first one?
rapid fire. Rapid fire.
Here we go. Arsenal v West Ham. Now I will just say before you go, Nikos, you are in last place. Let's think a little bit more with the brain, less with the heart on this one. Okay, here we go.
Damn.
You can tell he hate watches on his predictions.
3-1.
See that halfway through the episode.
3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal.
So I was going to say the same thing.
Okay.
Of course you were.
No, you know what? No. 4-1 Arsenal.
Okay.
Up the lines. Up the
Let's
lines.
go. All right. Wes, do your stupid prediction and then next game.
I don't think we're gonna score 4 goals against West Ham.
We scored
I
5.
think it's gonna be 3-0.
I was going to do 3-0, but I don't want to match West. I'm going to go 2-0.
I was gonna say that, but
United
say that.
versus Sunderland in the relegation bowl.
wait, what did JP say for that?
He said
3-1.
3-1. Is this the match that gets Amarin fired?
Yes, it is. 2-1 Sunderland.
2-1 Sunderland.
Who's home for that?
United. I always say the home team first.
They have to do it at some point. 2-1 Man U. They gotta do it. They gotta win at some point. Like, this is getting ridiculous now. All right, and I gotta 2-1 Man U.
I'm going 1-1 draw.
The players want him out. They want him out.
Yeah. 3-1.
Man U.
3-1 Man U.
Wow.
Next up, big match for me and Wes and Nikos as Chelsea fans. Chelsea versus Liverpool.
I'll start this one off.
Chelsea at home, which they don't
I-
win
I-
at, so.
I think this is a weak Chelsea squad. We have red cards. We have lack of center backs. We have injuries.
Wes might
I think
make
this
out
is-
with you when this is over.
I think this is going to be a 2-1 Liverpool game. Is it hard being a realist, Wesley? I know you know nothing about it.
This is the first episode that you're doing it. I'm just excited you finally come around.
I'm going 2-2 draw.
Kyle, what the fuck? I also have a 2-2 draw.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but with a weak Chelsea squad and Liverpool, who's coming off of a loss to Crystal Palace, I think they are fire under the ass. 3-0.
Okay.
At the bridge.
At the bridge,
Brentford.
Liverpool goes in and shows them who's daddy this week. Sorry, Nikos. I want Chelsea to win this match, and I'm going to be rooting against my score.
The London
Are
bridge
we all
is
rooting?
falling
We're all
down.
rooting for Chelsea. This is awesome. Nikos, are you excited?
Next prediction, please.
Brentford versus City. 3-0 City.
2-0.
3-1.
2-0. They got Monaco midweek.
You said 3-1?
3-1. Yeah.
I said 2-0. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
3-1 City.
Original.
Kyle, who's this surprise matchup that you
So-
wouldn't tell us about?
I got a surprise matchup because we're also going to talk about we got Champions League coming up Tuesday and Wednesday. And there's a Champions League match that doesn't involve any of our teams at all that I thought would be fun to see who we think could win. And that match is Barcelona versus PSG. Barcelona's home. 99% sure of that one.
Is
the
That would be
Ballon d'Or
Wednesday.
grudge match?
Yes.
What? Is Lamine still hurt?
I think so.
It's got to be
think he
PSG.
is.
Louise who?
PSG in a pretty commanding win. 3-1
Louise who?
PSG. Lamine
Yamal. You know, the Ballon d'Or runner-up.
The person that JP packed opening day of FIFA, that person? Nikos is not entertained.
I want to go watch the Jets game. Let's hurry up.
Well, then I'm going to need to think longer.
I will leave.
They're going to lose.
Let me go watch my team.
I'm going to say... You know what? I'll let JP go first, actually, because I can't think yet.
I want you to go first.
I'm going 2-1.
Well, I want you to go first.
Upset. Barcelona.
Right. I'm out, y'all. Good episode. Goodbye.
No.
All right, Wes, what is your prediction?
2-2.
Okay. JP?
I'll let you pick which one you want to give to which team.
I have a feeling that we are going to have a Barcelona moment, and Barcelona is going to win 3-2.
Okay. Arsenal play Olympiacos. Man City play Monaco. What else?
Wait, like
I hope that Paul Pogba is able to play. I hope Paul Pogba is there. Paul Pogba is another one of those players for me that, like, one of my all-time favorites to watch. Hated that he went to United. Similar to my Ibra love. Like, I had to love him until he played for United, and then I can love him again when he's gone. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. I love Pogba. So
Chelsea Benfica, that should be a good one. Atleti and Frankfurt, that's another good one. Galatasaray Liverpool, not an easy match for Liverpool. Galatasaray have had some good transfers last two seasons, so should be interesting. And then
doesn't look like Pogba's going to play though. Probably not until after the international break. But good to see Ansu Fati.
Yeah, that should be good. I think that's it. Do you guys want to go over fantasy or?
We can save it for next week.
All right, save it for next week.
Save it for next week. What's this? Game week 7?
Yeah.
And for the record, I only lost to the commissioner because I felt bad that he only had one win. So I didn't want him to be last place as the commissioner.
He seemed pretty
You're
depressed.
welcome, commissioner.
Yeah.
Kyle, we had a tough one this week, man. Tough battle.
We had a battle. We had an absolute battle.
Bruno Fernandes really swung that fucking match.
Yeah,
he really did.
He ruined that for you.
Oh, and I mean, points for me.
Like, that hurt. I mean, if Palace didn't concede, well, I guess that was because it was really the Gahey, and then the fact that Bruno Fernandes missed a pen that swung our match in your favor.
Yeah,
tough one.
Yeah, I had a couple. Declan Rice getting the assist too in the Arsenal game late pulled me right back. But that was a good one. And then RJ and Sousa had a wild match, 122.75 to 123.75.
Wow.
Absolute nail-biting finish. And yet again, Sousa had the auto sub come in to give him the points he needed. Pull out the victory. At least this one was actual auto sub because he had a player that was supposed to play who didn't play in one of the second to last games. So could have put in Martinelli, but he would have won with Martinelli, I think. I think it would have been close.
Well, great week of the podcast, boys.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you again next week. Yeah. Any final thoughts?
I think that's it. We'll have to think of the next challenge to do. maybe manager, Mount Rushmore managers. It might be too easy though.
Probably would be too easy.
Can I just say
Actually, no. I think the fourth name would be the toughest. Because realistically, what? Everyone would put Fergie,
Yep.
Wenger,
Yep.
Guardiola.
Yeah.
The fourth name is the tough one.
You got
right?
Jose,
Klopp.
It's probably Jose Mourinho.
It's probably Jose.
It's probably Jose, but maybe it is too easy.
It might be, yeah.
I really just need to point out, though, how impressive it is that we just did Premier League predictions for next week, and Nikos chose Arsenal to win, Chelsea to lose, and I have them tying.
Yeah. It's Chelsea have obviously they got a bad run right now. Not winning in the Champions League, not winning in the Premier League, stupid red cards. Definitely feels like Arsenal of like 2 seasons ago, which is they've always felt like 2 seasons behind where Arsenal are. So it's kind of funny that they're almost following the same trajectory in a sense. So, yeah. What do we think? Does Ruben get fired after this weekend's matchup? Yes or no? That's what I want to know in the comments below. Does he get fired? Even if they win, even if they squeak out a 1-0 90th.
Wasn't there something about like he was told to change the formation to a 4-3-3?
I did see that. He was told to change the formation. The players don't like it, and if he loses against Sunderland, he's out. That was like the rumory, inside, which is like, yeah, okay.
So to go off of what Kyle said, does Ruben get fired after this game? Or
yes or no?
According to Indy Kyla, Maresca's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
So does Ruben get fired after the next match? And is it before or after Maresca?
I almost brought
Can't
it up
wait to send this to Nikos for a clip.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say it earlier in the podcast, but I didn't want to continue being a terrible person.
Can we talk about real quick before we go? Nico said oil money, chose Arsenal to win. What else? He did one more thing, Wes. He agreed with you on a multitude of things. Weird.
Yeah, what's even more weird is Wes said no man City player on the Mount Rushmore. Like I love that.
He's not a Man City player in my mind.
Last I checked, he played for Manchester City.
He retired as a Chelsea player.
Played for Manchester City.
Congrats.
All right. You two, real quick. Yes, no. Ruben fired on Sunday. I think they play Sunday.
Yes.
It just
wait, on Sunday? I don't know, but
sorry. Did they get fired before their next match?
I have them losing, so yes.
Okay. Wes?
An Operation Warp Speed or whatever the fuck happens during the international break, whatever they call that, goes into full drive.
I don't know. I think they hold on to him.
Okay.
I think this club is just so stupid.
I think it's Christmas time. I think it's a Merry Christmas, you're fired for him. So let us know in the comments below, and we will see you next week on Monday for the podcast. And we might be on a few days this week to do some pro clubs. So we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
See ya.